Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to this channel. If you're new here, my name is Vangi, and today I'm going to go ahead and just get to it. I'm going to be doing part 3 of my little Hoya series collection. So I think I have another 14 or 15 Hoyas to share with you. In the previous videos, I believe I shared with you around 26 Hoyas thus far. So if you haven't watched those, I'll make sure to link them in the bottom, or you guys could just search them up on my channel. But I must mention, I just took a shower and my hair kind of looks all wild and out there, so that's what it is. Not that my hair doesn't always look like this, but especially when I just freshly showered, it's like Mufasa, like whoa. Okay, so the first Hoya that I want to go ahead and share with you guys is this gorgeous Hoya Chelsea. And I actually got this Hoya specifically in this winter, and that was in like back in March, and it ended up coming with some winter damage or some cold damage, so it's just still kind of perking up and just getting back to its regular self. It has only pushed out one new leaf since I've had it since March, but that leaf has been a goner because I ended up chopping it. So yeah, this is what we're working with. I'm really hoping that's going to eventually trail downwards instead of outwards. But that is Hoya number 1 for today. Next one I want to share with you guys, this is the cutest little Hoya, and it was on my list forever. So if you have watched my Hoya wish list, this was like my number 1 Hoya. And this right here is the beautiful Hoya Tong Sony. Look how beautiful it is. Okay, fine, it's not, maybe it's not that beautiful. It's only 4 leaves, let's be serious. And I still don't have down the care for this specific Hoya. I've heard that it doesn't like to be dry like typical Hoyas, but it also doesn't like to be wet. So you kind of have to find the medium between there. But yeah, it hasn't done anything since I've had it for a couple weeks. It's just 4 little leaves still chilling, you know. Whatever, it is what it is. At least it's not dying on me. And next up we have a variegated Hoya Chelsea, and there's a story for this. When I got this Hoya, I wasn't the biggest fan of it. I just didn't like its structure. And I think this Hoya kind of read into how I was feeling, because I ended up dropping it and some of the leaves basically broke, chipped. I don't know how you would say it, but the Hoya leaves just basically cracked in half, and I had no other use for them, so I ended up clipping them. Then my dogs, a week later or so, ended up knocking into the chair that this Hoya was on, and then more leaves ended up, you know, breaking or whatever you want to call it. So I was down to basically 1 leaf, and I left that leaf so it's able to, you know, take in and photosynthesize and such and give energy to the plants. And now I have cut that last leaf, and it has pushed out 3 new little leaves for me. It is super cute. I mean, I'm not a fan of upwards Hoyas. I'm more of like a Hoya trailing type of person. But it's still really cute. It has really succulent leaves, and it has a new growth point as well, so that's very exciting. So that is Hoya Chelsea variegata. Next up we have this cutie. This is Hoya Fungi, or Hoya Fungi, and when I originally got this Hoya, I believe it had 2 or maybe 3 leaves tops. And I believe this was around my birthday, back in January, so that I got it. And I didn't have that many Hoyas at that time. And so this was one of the Hoyas that I got for my birthday. And it took some time for it to actually grow a new leaf. Just when I wanted to sell it, it ended up pushing out a new leaf, and now it has 5 beautiful leaves. So that is Hoya Fungi. And then next up, I want to go ahead and share a crazy little Hoya. And once again, this one didn't come in the best shape to me. This is Hoya glabra. It has beautiful striking venations. what I do know is this seller typically has Hoyas, does a lot of cuttings, and ends up propagating them, and he sent it in a pot of soil, and I know it wasn't actually growing in that pot of soil because the soil just came completely off the roots, so I had to bring it back to life. So here we are. It's finally firmed up, and we have some new growth points right there, so I'm excited for that. So that is Hoya glabra. We have a few more Hoyas to go that are on the smaller side, and then I'm gonna go ahead and share with you my bigger Hoyas. So this one is a very cute Hoya. I ended up propagating a couple of these myself. Only 2 of them were successful, and this right here is Hoya finis. So the leaves, you know, as you could see, these are the original leaves. Eventually I'm going to snip them, but this right here is the new growth, and it's kind of fuzzy, and it's so ever cute. I love it. So this is Hoya finis. I'm not really sure when I propagated why all the cuttings didn't take, but they didn't, so I have one left at this point. Next up is a Hoya that I wanted for such a long time. I really wanted to import it from Thailand, but then everything happened with the pandemic, so then I wasn't able to do so. And then I was able to get my hands on Hoya abovada and absolutely love it. So here it is. The variegation is on the inside of this Hoya. It's beautiful, it's very striking. The variegation reminds me of like a Hoya Australis Lisa or a Hoya Crimson Princess, something like that. And yeah, it's very beautiful. I absolutely love it. Let me just say it, if I could probably get another one of these, I would. So that's that. And then here is one of my more newer Hoyas, and this is Hoya viola. And that leaf right there is probably one of my favorites. It's just very striking. And yeah, while these are a little bit more bleached, or like sun bleached, whoop, soil's falling. Okay, so this right here is Hoya viola. I ended up just getting it this week. I love it. It's different. The leaves are very, very thick. Like compared to my other Hoyas, I can't even put like a good bend into that. That's how like thick and succulent they are. So that is very different from some of my other Hoyas. And then we have this beautiful gem. And so I actually had 2 of these specific Hoyas in the past. This right here is a Hoya sunrise, and it's trailing so beautifully. And I ended up just getting this pot for it, and it's actually going to be against a back like that of the wall. So I'm very excited for that. I'm gonna go ahead and bring my dogs in because they're making a little bit too much noise. All right, so I'm back. I literally have to bribe my dogs with treats. So in order for them to come inside, I have to be like, hey, come inside guys, I have a treat for you, or otherwise they don't come. So wherever we were, I was talking about my Hoya sunrise and its stunning coloration. You could see some of the original leaves are this nice sun-kissed. Oh, I love that color on it. Obviously, it's not going to continue to get sun-kissed in my house. I just don't have enough light for it. But regardless, it's beautiful. So the story is, I ended up getting this very same Hoya back in December. And at that time, I got just 2 little cuttings, and I think I paid $30 for it. And I was back in Chicago, and I was really excited. I wanted it. I was confident in myself. And basically they turned yellow, and I wasn't patient enough, and they died. And then after that, I ended up getting another Hoya sunrise, and it was actually even bigger than this one right here. And that one I got from a Hoya Facebook purge site, which I no longer use Facebook. But yeah, I ended up getting from a purge site. It was beautiful, but the problem was that it was grown in a coconut shell or coconut husk. I don't know, all the roots were just like very compact, and I wasn't able to get that coconut husk off the roots, which I wasn't a fan because I love soil. And so I had it for some time, it was doing fine, and then it ended up declining, and I reached out to the seller as to what I could do, and she said, no worries, send it back to me and I will do a refund. I'm like, great. So I ended up doing that. But if you guys go on my Instagram, you could look back some photos and you'll see how stunning that Hoya was. So here's my Hoya sunrise. That was a little bit of a ramble on this Hoya, but yeah, it's so beautiful. All right, I think we have one more Hoya on this table. So next up we have this Hoya. And this Hoya is a little bit harder to come by, I think. It looks very similar to like a Hoya Rebecca or something like that. But this is Hoya Sitka, something like that. I want to go ahead and make sure I put it on the screen for you guys. But it is very cute. It could also get sun-kissed like many of the other Hoyas, like Hoya Rebecca, Hoya Obscura, and things like that. But yeah, it's just very cute, very delicate. It's starting to push out new growth right there. So that is very exciting. So those are my smaller Hoyas that I want to show you guys for today. And then I have a couple bigger Hoyas that I'm not going to go ahead and bring them down. It's just going to take a lot of effort. So my very first one that I want to show you guys is my beautiful Hoya Linearis. And I actually have two of them. Both of them I ended up getting from Plantarina. The very first one, which is a little bit more lush, I got it when she just first released them. So it's beautiful, it's full, it has so much new growth, it's fuzzy. And then I have another Hoya Linearis that I got a little bit later on that's right there. It's not as full, and it actually has more light. And surprisingly, it's not growing better, which is kind of odd. And then we have Hoya Abovada, my absolute favorite. As you guys know, I've wanted the Hoya Abovada Variegata for a very long time. And the reason being is because I'm obsessed with my Hoya Abovada. Just the thick, circular leaves I wanted for such a long time. And then it was one of my first Hoyas as well. I absolutely love it. So I have just placed it right there. It's new spots because I had it previously in a different spot, which was a little bit more low light. And now I have it in the east window. And then I have one more Hoya to share with you guys. And this is a very basic Hoya, probably a great staple for just about anyone getting into Hoyas. And this is Hoya Publicalis. It's beautiful. It has a little bit of speckles going on. It trails. And the tendrils like to grow upwards on its macrame hanger. However, I always have to take my Hoyas down in order to water them and do pest prevention checkups and things like that. Like, I would love for my plants to just kind of go wild and crazy all over my house, kind of like summer rain oaks. You could see like all her plants are like coming together and just growing so beautiful and lush. However, I can't do that because I constantly have to bring my plants down and look through them. I'm a little bit anal about that. And I also have to water them. And when I do so, the pots end up sometimes being a little bit too deep. And then the nursery pot that they sit in doesn't touch all the way to the bottom of the decor pot. And then therefore the water just sits there, which I also don't like. That's another reason why I have to bring it down. Okay, that was another ramble. Okay, but that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, blah, 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 probably 14 to 15 new Hoyas that I just shared with you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video in some shape, form, something. My husband told me to hurry up because we're about to go get some food, and it's either gonna be pizza or Indian. It's kind of like our to-go food. Pizza is great, but I feel like pizza is more of a snack, whereas like Indian food, like the curries and such, and then the rice is just more substantial and fills you up. So if you guys like Indian or if you guys like pizza, leave it in the comments. I would love to know which you prefer, or if you don't even like one of those, what do you go for? So if you're short on time, or if you go out to eat or bring it just home, what do you guys typically go for? I would love to know. And so yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and end the video there. If you're not already subscribed, subscribe. If you're not already following me on Instagram, do so at Rooted in Plants. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye guys!